5 ways to maintain consistent brand messaging. Hi guys, I'm Shama Maher, CEO of Scaling Retail. And when it comes to launching your business, it can be all too simple to forego some of the basic fundamentals of how to maintain a strong brand identity. Now, when we think about brand messaging and brand identity, sometimes we can forget that while you might start off and launch with a website, that how you choose to communicate your business across your social media platforms, across your packaging, even how you have your voicemail set to your business can all contribute to cohesive and consistent branding. Now, today we're going to unpack just a few of the key ways in order for you to make sure that your brand voice stays consistent. The first, we're going to talk about a communication strategy. The second, we're going to go into branding and brand identity. The third, we'll talk about packaging and all of those branded assets that are so important for you. Fourth, we're going to launch into a content calendar. So how you actually start to publish and syndicate these ideas. And then lastly, guys, we'll launch into your strong visual direction, the consistency and the cadence by which you need to really unpack and have a really strong branded communication. So let's dive right in. Okay, so number one, when it comes to really launching a communication strategy, you want to sit down and ask yourself, what is it that we stand for? What is our brand identity? How do we actually start to communicate that? And how does that voice change depending on the platform that you're speaking on? Hopefully, guys, what you're publishing on Instagram would be very different than what you're publishing on Facebook, even if you're using the same images, right? The types of content, how you're communicating that should be different. The next thing when it comes to that communication strategy is you should start to think about what messages you're putting out there. So we start to think about in terms of campaign creation, right? What are the different campaigns? How do all of the platforms synergistically come together? This is when I think it's so important to have a content calendar. Now, a content calendar can be anything from something like CoSchedule or Loomly, where you're able to really see all of your social channels, internal communications, and align that. You can certainly use a project management software like Asana to be able to do some of those things. Or you can have an Excel document. You can put it on Google Sheets. But sitting down and really understanding the cadence by which you guys are going to be publishing, and that really means the frequency, how often, as well as the different platforms and what the voice and communication looks like on those platforms is ultimately going to be the deal maker or breaker, right? If you are unable to push forth a consistent and cohesive brand message, then what you might find, guys, is that your consumers become confused. They don't know what they can rely on you for. They don't know what your brand values are, and therefore they don't actually convert and purchase from you. Now, we've all heard this in the past. It takes about 6 different consumer touch points in order to really close the sale. And that really also means in terms of your branded communication, right? And that strong brand strategy. So also think about how this translates onto all of your printed assets. That means your postcards, any of your bounce back materials. I love what some people are doing these days in terms of catalog advertising and postcard advertising, as well as what this means for any of your other paid social or paid digital. How that all translates together and relates to your campaigns are going to be a critical point of inflection for you as you start to understand what's working for you and what isn't working for you. Later down the road, it'll help you define and refine what those platforms are and what they should look like. Now, lastly, guys, as we're making sure that your brand platforms are cohesive, take a look at all of your packaging. Take a look at the hang tags and the labels inside of your garments or products. How you guys are showing your brand in that communication and all those little tiny details can really help to tie up the brand package and what your customers perceive of you in a really strong way. All right, guys, if you have any questions about how to pull together your brand strategy, you're looking for an agency to come in and help you define that communication platform, please send us an email to hello@scalingretail.com. We build brands, we launch websites, and we can help you define and launch your communication strategy. While you're waiting to hear back from us, make sure you follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I am where you are. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.